Hey friends, welcome to, well, my sister's apartment where I've been staying here in Riverdale in the Bronx. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk a little bit about what's happening in my life right now, what I've been up to, but also to guide you through one of my favorite recipes right now. It's vegan, it's gluten-free, it's paleo, it's like all the stuff that's like happening now. It's like my favorite thing to eat. And just kind of like open up and tell you about like what I'm going through right now. Like I said, this is my sister's apartment and I haven't done a food post in a really long time because I haven't lived in my own apartment and I always feel weird about being in someone else's space. And you know, if you've been following me for a while, you know that my blog, Miss Buttercup, in 2010 started out as a food blog because food is just such a big part of me, and what I love about life is just sharing food and stories with people. And I thought that I would go back to that because I've been kind of going through this like weird transition in my life right now where I kind of feel like I want to be more grounded and I want to have more stability in my living situation. So I thought this would be a fun way to show you a little bit about where I'm living temporarily and also one of my favorite recipes. So let's get to it. So again, if most of you have been following my journey, you know that I've become more plant-based and it's more for spiritual reasons, but it started out, I went on a trip in the Philippines and I watched them and listened to them killing a pig and it really, really traumatized me. I mean, I read Skinny Bitch, like I've read all these books, but it wasn't until I saw and heard an actual pig dying that it actually was like a visceral reaction. So this recipe is great for your vegan friends, gluten-free friends, and people who are on paleo because they are so hard to cook for. It's a mushroom taco. And I know it might sound weird because it's like, how could mushrooms be so good? But it's fucking delicious. So I'm gonna take this off the tripod to like let you come with me on this journey, like a traditional vlog. Okay, so my arm has substituted for the tripod. So I didn't really have time to prep this recipe, but I'm keeping it real. So you're going to need, let's see here if I can show you, white mushrooms. I got these organic radishes at the market, an avocado, lime, and then over here I've got butter lettuce to act as the taco, walnuts, garlic that I've already peeled, red onion, and vegan cheese. I really like this brand, but it's called Violife. Oh, I'm gonna like not show the price here. It's pretty good. I like another brand that has cashew cheese better, but I forget the name of that brand. I started trying out vegan cheeses and I haven't found one that I'm like super jazzed about because cheese is still something that like will make me not want to be a vegan because cheese is so damn good. It's like my favorite food. But I'm trying my best because of the environment and because of, you know, cheese and dairy create mucus in your system, which is bad for practicing your spiritual practices. So I'm trying, but it's really hard. So I'm gonna start making this recipe and I don't know how exactly I'm gonna put this camera around so you can see what I'm doing as I'm talking. Okay, cool. So I like to clean mushrooms this way. I like to douse them with a little water and then I use a paper towel and I kind of smudge the dirt off. I found that to be the most useful way to clean mushrooms. By the way, I love mushrooms. They're so good for you. They're like the meat of the vegetarian world. So I've been, gosh, you know that quote that's like, you wished for the life you have now, like at one point, and it's so true. Like 3 years ago in 2016, when I was in corporate America and I was sitting in that cubicle, I would just dream of this life, like a life of freedom, being able to travel everywhere, having no address. I got rid of all my stuff. I didn't have furniture. I just like got rid of everything. And I think the beauty of life is that you get what you want, but then your needs change over time. And I think it really hit me when I was in California for a month and I was having these like horrible feelings. And have you ever watched the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's with Audrey Hepburn? That is like one of my favorite movies. And her character, Holly Golightly, is explaining to Fred about the mean reds. And it's not like the blues. The blues are just like, you're just sad, that's all. I know every word in this movie. But the mean reds is something like that. I know what she's saying because I felt those before. Probably like once a year I'll feel them. It's like this horrible gut-wrenching feeling that you just feel like ungrounded and just like so weird, and no amount of like self-positive talk or talking to a girlfriend or going for a walk or meditating makes it better until you just like feel it and let it move through. And I realized that those feelings are important to feel in our lives when we don't feel grounded and we don't feel secure, and it's an indication that we need to make a change in our life. And I think what that showed me was that I wanted more security and I wanted more of a stable home life. Like I didn't want to just like live out of my suitcase anymore, and I really do live out of my suitcase. And yes, I have the support of my sister and my parents, but there's nothing like having your own stuff around you and, you know, sleeping in your own bed and getting to decorate it your own way. I know this is like first world problems, but still, like, I think people see my life on Instagram and they just assume that everything's like hunky-dory, but there are moments when I still feel scared and that I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I don't feel good about this situation. So anyway, while I was talking, I washed off all the mushrooms and now I'm gonna slice them into little pieces. Wow, by the way, like, vlogging is like super hard because you have to be like the person filming and talking and directing. Oh, I don't know how you vloggers do it. But the reason why I picked this recipe too was it's like so easy. So I'm just gonna continue to chop all the mushrooms. So my sister doesn't have a food processor, so I'm hoping that this blender situation is going to work. But you want to use a food processor and you want to mix in the mushrooms, the walnuts, and 1 clove of garlic and make them until they're like very small and blended. I'll show you in a second. Salt. Pepper. Ooh. Okay, not bad. The blender worked. So they should kind of look like this. Like grounded up. Yes. Okay, now I have some olive oil on this pan in a medium heat. And we're just gonna cook this mixture. this mushroom mixture on the pan until it's done. So the original recipe had 1 or 2 pieces of sun-dried tomato, but right now I'm not eating nightshades. Nightshades are the plants that grow really low to the ground. Eggplant, tomatoes, peppers. And I read Dr. Stephen Gundry's book, The Plant Paradox, and gosh, it was a mind-blowing book. But that is the reason why right now I'm not eating nightshades. So like things like tomatoes is usually what you would find in Mexican cuisine, but I am abstaining for this moment. I know, it's really hard to believe. But I heard that Tom Brady and Giselle don't eat nightshades either. So it's gotta come from somewhere, right? Okay. Some of these bits are a little bit bigger than the others because I didn't use a food processor. Oh well. This will have to do. Yay, cooking! I love Jennifer Garner's Instagram. She has this thing called the Fake Cooking Show, and it's hilarious. But she makes like real deal things like bagels and like bread. That's like hardcore because I would just buy that stuff at the store. Okay, so we're just gonna cook this. Right now it kind of looks like duty, but it smells so good. Woo. So yeah, back to my living situation. So a lot of you have asked me, where's my sister? Well, right now she's here in New York, but she has been, so she's a travel nurse and she's been in California, figuring out if she wants to live out there. And so it kind of worked out that I didn't have a place to live and I am living in her spot while she's gone. And it's very ironic because she lives in Riverdale, which is where I went to college. I went to Manhattan College, and where I went to school is probably like a 10-minute walk, not even a 10-minute walk. So while that's cooking, I'm gonna wash this beautiful butter lettuce, and they sell them like this at the grocery store, and look how beautiful they are, right? Oh, so beautiful. These act as like perfect gluten-free keto tacos because they're literally like little cups. So Koreans use this a lot to eat like the sam, like the meat in the thing, but since we're not eating meat today, it's just gonna have to be shrooms. It's delicious and it smells delicious. And then I prepped a couple of things here, a couple of radishes, avocado, and a lime. Okay, these are the finished products. How gorgeous does that look? So I just assembled the butter lettuce with the mushroom mix, the vegan cheese, avocado, and slices of radish. And yeah. Okay, now I don't know if this part is considered a mukbang or not, but I guess I'm going to taste what we've made. As you've seen, it's so easy. Let's take a taste. So good. It really is like how you spice things. So good. one day I got really interested in mukbangs because they started in Korea. And I got trapped in this like Instagram hole of watching mukbang videos. It's interesting because I feel like Instagram, there's like this whole other world of people beyond like travel and spirituality that everyone's kind of just doing their thing. Well, mukbangs? Who would have known? So juicy. I forgot to spritz the lime. So yeah, I really love cooking. I love being at home and cooking. And so I'm so glad I got to show you this side of me, because I think what I show on Instagram is like 10% of my real life, not even 10%. That's me like being outside wearing pretty dresses and like traveling. The traveling part might have been true, but most of the time I'm home and in leggings and making myself food. By the way, my parents, who are not vegan or not vegetarian, they're not paleo, they're not gluten-free, love this recipe. I think this would be really good with some hot sauce, but I don't have any right now. Ooh, the avocado is really good. When I lived with my ex-boyfriend, I would cook a lot more, because when you're single, it's like you don't necessarily want to cook a whole meal. You just want to eat something simple and be done with it. But I'm realizing now that it's a part of who I am and I love doing it. It's also so much healthier for you. Now I'm realizing that it's really rude to talk while I'm chewing. But who knows? The beauty of life is realizing what you want, and you have the power to change it. So I was realizing what I felt internally. Who knows, maybe the next time I'll make another foodie video is from my own kitchen. As I finish chewing this, since I've eaten all the tacos and I need to get more, thank you guys for continuing to support me and for caring, because sometimes I'm like, who cares? But I'm all about sharing. That's the reason why I got on Instagram, was to share and to inspire. So thank you so much, and I hope this was helpful.